My name is Lena and it's knitting time. So it's been forever since I last saw you. The last video I did was in August and it's now December, so it's been way too long. But there's been a lot of change during this time, which is why it's been so long. So the biggest change, obviously, is that I had my baby. So in August, when we saw each other, I was expecting. I was pregnant with my second child, and she has since arrived. So I'm now a mother of two. I have two daughters. One is Iris. She turns 2 in like 2 weeks. And the other one is Molly, and she was born on October 13th. So yeah, that's been a big change for all of us, to say the least. Maybe mostly for Iris, I think. She handles it like mostly well, but obviously she's not even 2 years old and she now has to share her parents with a little baby. So some days she does not handle it so well, as expected. So it's been a lot of change, but it's all also very exciting, obviously, and it's been wonderful to finally meet Molly and get to know her and see what she's like, and yeah, all of that. So it's been very exciting, but stressful and tiresome, to say the least. But yeah, big change. So that was obviously the biggest change that happened during these months. Also, I now have a new phone. Last time I saw you, I was doing Vlogist, and my phone broke. Like literally just shut down on me. First, I think it was the focus on the camera that went, and then everything went. It was like, you don't have a SIM card. I was like, yes, I do. And everything just went like one function by one. So eventually I just caved in, got a new phone, which I'm filming on now. I should have attached my external microphone. I know the sound would be so much better, but honestly, I don't think I can be bothered because Iris is at preschool, Simon is at work, and Molly is actually asleep. So I just thought I would try to film this while she sleeps. So I don't want to waste any time on like the setup because I don't know how long she will be asleep for. Yes. I have no idea what we were talking about last when it comes to knitting. I think it might have been I think I was working on the gift knit for my friend. The Anchors body onesie. Anchor suit? Anchors onesie. Anchor suit. I'm not sure the actual name. You know, the little one piece thing. For my friend, they actually also had their baby. So that has been gifted a long time ago. I think I was also working on maybe the design idea for the stitch colorwork thing. That sweater has also been finished, but I'm not happy with the fit. It's just a round yoke. I can't seem to get my head around it because when I finish it, it looks fine from the front, but from the back like points out from like the yoke part, the body section of the back like goes, if this is my back, it goes whoop, and I don't like it. So I think there's too many stitches, but if I remove stitches, then the circumference is wrong. So I need to work on that to figure it out. I think that's what I showed you last. I'm not sure. And I'm not wearing anything like self-knitted today. I should, but all my knitwear is in my bedroom where Molly is asleep. I don't want to risk it. So I'm just wearing my latest Vinted thrift that I really, really love. This is knitted, but by machine, so I don't think it counts. Yeah. I'm just gonna move into the knitting talk now. I feel like there's a risk that this might be rambly because I haven't been here in so long. Yeah. So I did finish a sweater for Iris. I don't even think I had started that when I last saw you. I don't have it here because she's currently wearing it at preschool because it's very, very cold outside and lots of snow, which I love. So she's wearing it right now. I'll pop in a picture. I made that using one strand of Knitting for Olives merino, no, 2 strands of Knitting for Olives merino, one in the color Blue Tit and one in the color, was it forest green or bottle green? I'm not sure. Everything will be in the description as always. That was stash yarn. I was looking at my stash and I was like, I really want to make a sweater, but I don't really want to buy any yarn. And I didn't have a sweater's quantity of anything for myself at that point. But I was like, I think I could get a sweater for Iris out of these yarns. So I did. I just cast it on, like did a high double folded collar so that it was not like a full polo, but a little bit. I don't know if that's what you call I don't know what you call it. A little bit. And then I did just a classic raglan thing with short rows to raise the neck, but I did add a cable in the raglan because I just liked how it looked and I just felt like it. So that's what I did. Fits her perfectly. It's like tiny bit big, which is what I was going for because I wanted to fit her this entire winter. And it's just December, so it's the beginning of the winter for us. In my head, winter is not over until after Easter, because we always, like, the tradition for us with Easter is that we spend it in northern Sweden with my family. We go skiing and riding snowmobiles and stuff. That's like our Easter tradition. So in my head, winter isn't over until after Easter. Easter is like the mark for me at end of winter, beginning of spring. So I wanted to fit her until then, so I made it a little bit bigger. Very happy with that. Then I don't even know. I'll have to look in my little bags. Oh, that's that project. I also did finish the Selma sleep suit that I have been working on since March. And I wish I could say that I'm happy with it, but I'm not. Which is sad. It's not here. It's also at preschool, which was the intent. I made that using double Sunday. And I'm not like the biggest fan of that yarn to begin with. I don't know why. It feels like it might be a little bit... I need to go. I'm sorry, I was distracted. I have like, me and Iris, we baked the other day. And I just realized that I haven't taken that in from like the balcony for chilling. And there's a bird there now. So I need to save my cookie. The cookie has been saved. That was so distracting. I was like, there's a little bird there. What is it doing? Oh no, it's trying to eat my cookie. We made this, like, me and Iris. Basically, there's a layer of like cookie dough at the bottom. And then on top of it, there's a layer of, I don't know the English word, but like in Sweden we have this traditional Christmas sweet that is called knäck. So there's a layer of like soft knäck on top of the cookie dough. It's like a fudgy caramel thing with like almonds in it, and there's a layer of that on top of it. It was so nice. But we put it on the balcony for chilling yesterday, and obviously I forgot it, and I just now saw that it was being attacked. That it was being almost being stolen by a little bird, but I've saved it now, so distraction over. I was talking about the Selma sleep suit. I knit it in double Sunday. I don't know what the color was. I'll put it down there. It was this also like a foresty green. And yeah, I don't love the yarn. It's a little bit splitty. It doesn't feel like it's like after I've knit with Knitting for Olives merino, I feel like the Sandnes garn merinos aren't as good quality. But I do still use them because of the price point, basically. I just really wish that Knitting for Olive would make a DK weight merino. That would make my life easier. Yeah, so I made that Selma sleep suit. I added a zipper to it, which in itself worked out great. I used the method that is used in the zipper sweater by Petite Knit. So basically, like modified obviously. So instead of like doing a provisional cast on or Ulysse magical, I just picked up stitches on the inside of the button bands and I knit a casing for the knitting for the zipper, and then I sewed it in. But I was doing it when I was stressed and I was tired and it was dark, so I accidentally sewed the zipper a little like crooked. It doesn't affect the zipper function, but now one side of the Selma sleep suit is longer than the other because it's doing that. And also the fit wasn't great for Iris, and yeah, I don't know. I left it at preschool because it was also like, okay, I don't even think I could unravel this and do something else with the yarn because I sewed a zipper into it and I'm not about to try to pick that out. So I left it at preschool, which was the intent that you could like sleep in it there. And we'll see if they use it or not, but it's there. I'll pop in a picture of that as well. Then I started, because then I felt like, okay, I want to make something for myself now. Because I haven't done that in a while. So I cast on a sweater for myself. And this yarn is also an acquisition, obviously, because I just told you I didn't have any sweaters quantities. So I had some alpaca one in the color Midnight in stash. So I got some Ulysse by rerum natura in the color Nuit, I think. Yeah, so I got those. I'm holding them together and I am making sweater number 23 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I have made this sweater before. I made it in the size S then, in like a brown caramel color. And that is probably my most worn sweater during the winter. I use that so much. I love that sweater, but I feel like it's a little bit too big, too oversized. So I'm knitting this in the size XS, which is a size down. Because I thought if I have one that I use so much, then maybe there is room for one more in my wardrobe. And I do love a navy thing. So this is how far I've got. I have done the collar and I have done like the back piece that has the little seam detail. I did the front piece. I have joined them round and knitted this much of body. So I join in the round and I knit till I need to like switch my yarn. I need to add another. And then I did the collar because it looks naked without it. And I think I might keep on going on the body for a while, and when I'm bored of the stockinette, I will do a sleeve. And then do a little bit on the body and then do another sleeve just to keep it interesting. But yeah, I'm very excited for this to be finished because I foresee myself using this a lot. It's a color that I love. I already know that it's a sweater that I love because I have one that I use so much. So yeah, I'm very happy with that decision to make that. When I had done the collar of that sweater, I was like, okay, do I keep doing body now or do I go for sleeve? And I couldn't decide. So obviously I cast it on something else. And I made this little guy. It's so cute. I had decided that I wasn't going to knit anything for Molly because I knit quite a few things for Iris, like hats and sweaters and little onesies. And I was like, okay, Molly will obviously just inherit all of those. They will be passed down to her and they will fill the same function. because Iris is born in December, Molly is born in October. So if I knit a onesie for Iris to have like her first winter, it's likely that that will also fit Molly during her first winter because they're pretty close in age. So I wasn't going to knit her anything, but then I was like, oh, I can't resist it. So I casted on this little beauty. It's just a self-drafted pattern. I didn't use a pattern. It's just a raglan. I don't need a pattern to just make a simple raglan with short rows in the back. This yarn is actually a thrift. So I found this yarn on Facebook Marketplace, and it's Hobbie's Unicorn. So I think, I don't have it here, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's maybe 80% merino, 20% polyamide or something like that. And the color is Amazed, and I was amazed by the color, which is why I got it. And it's also 80% merino, so, and it's non-superwash, which was big thing for me. So I just made this little raglan. It's so cute. I had a little bit of pooling. I had a lot of pooling, to be honest. So I did some duplicate stitch over it when it was done to add in a little more speckles. It was mostly like a lot of blue areas like these. I got bored on the back, so I didn't do it as much here. I had a lot of these sections, but they were a lot bigger on the back and on the front. So I just went with duplicate stitch and like stitched in a little bit of color. But then I think now maybe the pink is doing a little zigzag pooling thing here. But I can't be bothered to do anything about it. I could just duplicate stitch some blue in there, but honestly, I don't think I will. It's for a newborn. She's tiny. She's just gonna have it on and be lying, so nobody will look at the pooling of the sweater. But it's finished. I have a little marker here. I do that. I mark the neck, and then when I am done, I go with like a different colored yarn, and I add some just to show that this is the back of the sweater, so that it's faster when you're putting it on. I haven't done that. That's the only thing left to do with this little guy, and then she can wear it. The plan is that this could be something we just chuck on when we're gonna go driving or something, and she doesn't need to have like a full-on jacket or overall or something like that, because we're gonna be in the car if we're like driving for a long time, which we usually do. But like she can't be just in a onesie because it's a little bit chilly in the car when you get there and all of that. So then we could just pop this little cutie on. So I made that as a little palette cleanser, basically. I'm actually really happy with it. It turned out really nice. And I did hold it double-stranded, the yarn. Like I said, it's Hobbii Unicorn. I think it's a fingering weight. I held it double, and I made sure that I lined up my yarns so that a blue section of one of the yarns matched, like came at the same time as a colored section of the other yarn. So when one of the yarns went from color to blue, the other one went from blue to color, so that I got as much marl as possible. And then obviously that didn't work out for the entire thing, because sometimes the sections were longer or shorter, so therefore I had a little bit of blue pooling. That's all fine. Doesn't really matter. Yeah. So that's also something I did. And the other night, I was about to say yesterday, honestly, I cast on this. This is not much to show you. It's a 2x2 rib. Oh my god, revolutionary. This is the start of a new sweater. I'm scared that I might need to rip this out and do it on a smaller needle. I'm doing it on 2.5 now, but I feel like it's a little too airy maybe, but I'm not sure because I haven't blocked the swatch, so I don't know what this yarn will do, because this is an acquisition. I was going to show you another project first. Where is that project? Oh, it's in a green bag somewhere. I'm gonna go look for it in a second. I will show you this acquisition first that I'm using for this little thing. because I have been wanting to try Holst supersoft. Because I've heard that it's a bit rustic when you use it, but when you block it, it transforms. So I've been interested in trying that because they sell it on cones, which I feel is a lot of like a good value for your money. So they had a Black Friday sale, and I don't usually shop anything in the Black Friday sales because, like, we're not gonna get into the whole rant thing about consumerism, but I don't really support it. So, or at least I try not to. But then I do buy a lot of yarn, so you know, double standard. But that was the only thing I bought in the Black Friday sale, and obviously I went a bit crazy. So I got 3 cones of Holst Supersoft. One in like a black. It's almost, I think it's almost black. It might be super duper 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 dark maybe, but I think it's black. It's called Ink. So I have a cone of that, which is what I'm using for this, holding it double stranded. I do also have a cone of the colorway Ember, which is a rusty, bit of a variegated thing. Also got a cone of the colorway Tundra, which is this like forest green. So I have a lot of this yarn, and I haven't used it before. So if I don't like this yarn, then I have a lot of it to do something with. But yeah, I did get that, and I casted this on. I did do a swatch of a tiny swatch of my idea, because I'm gonna do a little bit of color work, and I wanted to see if I liked the way they look together in like contrast and stuff, and I did. So I'm gonna use the Ember for color work on this black background. I probably should have blocked I was gonna do the entire color work section just to see what it looked like, but then I got bored of swatching and I just wanted to start, so I am starting. But I should probably have blocked this for like gauge and stuff, and to feel like everybody says it transforms, to see if I felt the same way. I didn't, because I'm lazy. Yeah, I'm gonna go see if I can find the other project. Found it. This was my main project, and then I cast that on last night, so I don't know how I forgot about this. And my sweater number 23 is obviously main project, but I am redoing my design that I talked about earlier with the slip stitch stripe thing. I'm doing it in a navy with a white stripe this time, and I love this. I would love to have this finished so I can wear it, but again I messed up the increases and it killed my mojo, and I put it back in the bag. I'm doing this in Pernilla, 1 strand of white, I don't know what the color is, and 1 strand of like a navy blue. This is what I have so far. There's supposed to be 1 more white stripe, and then just finished off the yoke, and then going to sleeves, but it's already bunching up and I have too many increases, which is so crazy because I keep doing the math and it keeps not working, and it's making me very frustrated because I do the math and it all looks fine, it all adds up in the numbers, but then I do it in the knitting and it doesn't work, and it's making me crazy. Because if I have less increases, then the circumference is wrong. But if I make the circumference right, then the increases are too many. And yeah, I don't know what to do. I am self-drafting this. I've made 2 round jokes sweaters before. One of them has the same problem as my first sample of this, with the back thing, that it goes out, and therefore I never used that sweater, which is making me very sad. I wanted to use it the other day. It's the Festive Yoke pullover by Skandir Knits, and I've never used that sweater because I finished it last year and then it wasn't like snowy and wintry enough to wear it, and because it's got like snowflakes. But now there's so much snow, and I was going to knit brunch this weekend and wanted to wear it, but I put it on. I was like, this fit isn't great. And I don't know if it was me or if it's the sweater, but I've seen the sweater on other people and it looks great. So I think it was me. And I don't know why, but it does the thing where the back, it just poofs out, and I don't like it. So this has, not yet, but this will probably have the same problem if I keep going at this rate. So I will rip out the blue that I just did because it has increases, and probably do it without increases and see where we're at. I feel like this might be a situation where I just ignore the math and just knit it and see what the knitting wants to do. I'm also considering, because I did do the Chunky Dahlia by Le Holm. Is Lynette, right? Lena Holm Samso, right? I'm not sure. I'll link it. I did do that sweater, and it is a round yoke, but after the round yoke, there's a little tiny section of raglan. So I'm thinking this might be that as well. If I can't get my head around this and it just hates me and doesn't want to work, I might do a few increased rounds in the yoke and then go into a raglan for the last section of the yoke. We will see. I'll try to get this mojo back because I am excited about it, but as of right now, I'm more excited about other things. So I went from not working on anything for myself to now working on 3 sweaters for myself at the same time, which was not my intention, but you know how it is. Cast on energy, you just go with it. So those are all my works in progress. I do have another one, but I'm not going to show it to you because it's very, very boring and I haven't done anything on it for a very long time. It's a blanket, and it's just, I'm gonna felt it was the idea. So it's just this huge thing in Rauma Finul, in garter stitch. It's gonna be a big square, and I'm gonna felt it. You've seen it before. I'm not showing you again because I haven't done anything on it. The other acquisition I have, because like I told you, I was like, I don't have any sweater quantities in my stash, and it's making me stressed out because when you have cast on energy, you just want to cast on. You don't want to have to think about what you're gonna cast on and like get the yarn, and maybe then you're not as enthusiastic and you don't have the same time and energy and whatever. So I did get the cones, which helps with this situation. I also bought the sweater quantities for sweater number 23, which I'm now working on. But I also, because I have been trying to be a little more adventurous with my yarn. Before I just used merino. I'm now trying to venture into a little more rustic, but still not like scratchy rustic. So I'm trying out a few other yarns. So I also got a sweater quantity of Hearth DK from Woolly Mammoth Fiber, which is 50% Jacob and 50% BFL in the color Ember. No, the color Bonfire, which is this rusty reddish. And I'm very excited about this. I have an idea what I'm going to do with it, and I'm excited about it, but I'm not casting it on yet because I have 3 sweaters on the needles right now, and I don't need a 4th. Or do I? But yeah, so I got a sweater quantity of this as well. So now I feel like my stash is a little more where I want it to be. I don't have a crazy stash because I don't have a lot of room. Like, we live in an apartment, we have 2 kids, and the apartment is already too small for us. We need at least 1 more room, but we want to live in a house. But the market right now is just not helping with this situation. It's not doable at the moment. So we're still in an apartment. We don't have a lot of space, so my stash isn't crazy. It's like I don't know if you can see it, but it's in that cupboard right there. And that's all the room I have for my knitting things. And it's not like the full height, it's half that cupboard. So I have all my knitting projects in there, all my notions, all my needles, and my stash. So I don't have a lot of room. But I feel like I want to have at least a sweater on the needles and 2 possible sweaters to make in my stash. So I want to have 2 sweater quantities that aren't on my needles, at least, and then at least 1 on the needles. And now I have 3 on the needles. I have another sweater quantities of this, and I do have all of that combed yarn from Holst as well. So I feel like we're in a good place with the stash right now. I also have a lot of acrylic yarns that I inherited from my grandmother, but that is not something I use for sweaters, but I use them for like other things, bits and bobs here and there. But that stash is not in the cupboard because it would not fit, because there were a lot of it. So it's not, it's in like storage. Yeah. I feel like I'm rambling now. I'm gonna show you. I have 2 other acquisitions that I thought were funny and I would show you. I got this one, alternate stitch dictionary, which is a stitch dictionary with a lot of like color work, like diagrams or ideas that you can use. It also has a lot of like information about tips and tricks about color work, like how to catch your floats in different ways, how to hold the yarns in different ways, what to think about with like yarn dominance with the colors and stuff like that. So I felt like this was a good add to my little knitting library. I now have 3 knitting books, so I am building my library slowly but surely. And yeah, I feel like I have only made 1 sweater that has color work, and I would like to get better at it, and I would also like to be better at self-drafting. I have this little dream of like publishing a pattern, so I'm working on my self-draft to get there eventually. And yeah, I felt like this could be a good add to my library to, yeah, make my color work better, basically. So I got that. And then I got these super cute. I think the other one, I have 2. I need to find the other one because I need to show them both to you because they are adorable. I don't think it's in here. I'm not sure which project bag I put one of them in, so I'm gonna look and see if I can find it. Yeah, I found it. So I got these on Etsy because I saw them and I was like, yeah. I needed some more storage for stitch markers, basically. And I saw these and I just couldn't resist. So it's just 2 little metal pins that has this lid, slides off, and I just keep my markers in there. But I mean, they're adorable. So on one of them, we have little puffin birds with like knitted vests, and there's also like the background is also knit. The background is also knitted. I'm hoping this is focusing on for you. So little puffins in knitted vests with knitting background. The other one is little penguins. They also have little knitted like vests, and the background is like a colorwork chart. And I just couldn't resist because they were adorable, and penguins are one of my 2 favorite animals, so I couldn't resist. And the puffins are also very, very cute. And there were more. There were like versions of people actually knitting and stuff like that, but I just couldn't resist the little puffins and the little penguins, so I got them. So I got those as well. Yeah. They were just adorable. I couldn't resist. So I think that's everything for today. I have no idea how long I've been talking for. Molly is still asleep, which is amazing. And yeah, I'm gonna put all of this away, and if she's still asleep after that, I will probably knit. I will also have to like save my cookies, put them in like a real container in the freezer instead of on the balcony where the birds can get them, which I didn't think about. So yeah, I need to save those. It was really fun to see you again, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be as long until the next one, because I've been missing this in the midst of all the chaos with 2 kids. So yeah, I do hope I see you soon, but we'll see. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.